Welcome back, guys, to yet another War of the Visions video. Today we're going over the best crafted armor and accessories for you guys. Now, this is armor and accessories. There's no weapons in here because 9 times out of 10, the best weapons for you guys are going to be the MR variants. However, armor and accessories is an entirely different subject to talk about. So since we're getting into the game now, it's got its time to breathe. Everyone's been able to level their characters up a little bit, and we're starting to get events that allow you to get the proper books and recipes for armor and accessories. These are the number 1, top 10, whatever it is that you want to call it, things you need to be looking out for when crafting gear for your characters. Before we get into it, thank you guys once again so much for spending a little bit of your time here today, as well as supporting the channel via Patreon, as well as YouTube channel members. You guys out there who do decide to do that, help this content keep continuing to flow, and you guys are becoming the backbone. If not, you are the backbone of this channel. Let me know down below what your number 1 assumed item you are going to be crafted is, as well as the item you didn't think was going to be good for you, but decided it was good for you. So the first item we're going to be talking about today is actually Hermes Sandals. So Hermes Sandals, the only way to get this recipe is from the PvP. This is the Match Battle Metal Exchange Shop. So once you acquire that recipe, you can craft it here, and it comes into a variety of versions. There's the Vital, Dodge, and Critical Hermes Sandals. Now, one of the big ones here to look out for is the Dodge Hermes Sandals, because you can get up to 12 evade on it. And the other thing that makes the Hermes Sandals very, very, very strong for a lot of builds out there is it comes with 6 agility, no matter which version it is, Vital, Dodge, or Critical. So you can get 12 dodge and 6 agility here, or you can get 9 crit and 6 agility in the accessory slot. An accessory slot's very, 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 very strong because you can have multiple accessories equipped. You can have Hermes Sandals and another accessory. You can have Hermes Sandals and another accessory and a TMR accessory if you wanted to. So very, very, very hard to get access to, but since you can now level it up with the ease of the accessory books being out there and flowing around in the environment, it's allowing you to level these up to level 20, level 30, level 40, and getting that 6 agility from leveling it up, as well as that up to 12 evasion. And an accessory slot, this allows you to wear whatever armor type you want, whether it's a TMR armor or a normal armor, and you can wear a weapon of your choice as well. It's a very, 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 very powerful item. And then in the future, if you can +1 it, +2 it, +3, 4, 5 it, it also has the ability associated with it of not only increase your immobilize resistance, but up to 10 more increased evasion rate as well. Now, this is going to be a very, very lofty long-term goal because, as we know, +5 in an item takes 63 crafting recipes, and the Hermes Sandals recipes, it's only coming from the PvP exchange shop. So that's going to be a very big ask, but even at +0, it's going to be something that you can get 6 agility on, which is something that is usually only associated with TMR. So very, very strong thing. Evasion, critical, agility, definitely something that you should be looking at when it comes to the Hermes Sandals. Now, the next one is going to be the Golden Armor. The Golden Armor is an MR recipe. You can get this in the general shop, as well as, well, that's pretty much it for right now. It only kind of has existed in the general shop. There hasn't been a Golden Armor event, but this is going to be a very strong piece of gear for any sort of bruiser HP defensive tank out there, because it comes in the Vital, Shield, and Barrier forms. And if you're looking at this piece of gear, I will tell you that the Shield form is what you're aiming for. It has 478 HP, 18 defense, 2 spirit, -3 agility. It is the downside for having the Golden Armor on, and it is going to lower your accuracy and your evasion as well. But this piece of gear, especially if you plus it, it comes with the slashing resistance buff, which is a huge deal. So you throw this on Engelbert or Mont or anyone that you want to be able to equip armor and make very, very, very tanky. Slashing damage is very powerful in the meta right now. A lot of the characters are using slashing damage. Almost all of the tanks are. Orlando's out there, Thancred, and we have people like Stern roaming around. Slashing damage is going to be a continuous powerhouse in the game when it comes to damage type. So this is going to be very, very good against that. And not only are you getting that slashing resistance, 18 defense, and a piece of armor, is absolutely insane, and this is going to help you counter that right there. The biggest downside being that negative agility. Most of the time, if you're going for a beefy bruiser tank, they don't really care about their evasion being lowered. You just have to look out for that accuracy, and you can always throw Excalibur on your tank if they can use a sword to counter that accuracy loss. Now, the next one that we can go over is this Smart Coat. The Smart Coat, at the time of recording for this video, currently has an event going on, and the Smart Coat is here to allow you to get either the shield or the barrier form. Those are the two best forms in my opinion. Barrier form gives you up to 21 spirit. This is clothing. And then shield form gives you 9 spirit, or 9 defense, excuse me, and 10 spirit. So you can have 9 defense and 10 spirit, or you can have 21 spirit and 4 defense there. And on top of that, the plus versions give magic resistance with +5, giving you 8% magic resist. So if you want to have that extra spirit, this is something that you definitely want on your healer. However, if you want to have that extra defense, you can go with the shield form. Put this on your healer. They'll have a little bit of spirit, they'll have a little bit of defense, and a little bit of extra magic resist in case you ever come up against that. But if you're looking for even more defense, there's the SR version of the clothing crafting recipe called the Mirage Vest, and this actually has more defense than the Smart Coat does. It's going to give you 12 defense in the shield form. And that, if you're looking for defense, especially just defense on your healer or your mage or whatever character, this is going to give you a little bit more damage reduction against physical damage than the Smart Coat does. The plus 4 or 5% is going to give you magic resistance of 7% at the +5 version, compared to the slightly higher than this on the Smart Coat. So the Smart Coat's going to be better at mitigating magic damage by a lot. The Mirage Vest is going to be a tiny bit better though at mitigating physical damage as far as just straight damage reduction. Now, if you're looking to dodge damage, period, you're going to have the best one in Sage's Hat. Sage's Hat is an MR recipe. It is a hat, obviously. You can get this from events as well as through the general shop. And this is going to be, you're going to be looking at the dodge version for this because it gives 19 evasion. You can max it out to 19 evasion. But on top of that, if you +5 this item, it's going to give you an increased evasion rate of another 8. So this is a special ability. The special ability of 8 evasion is going to stack with the 19 evade on the dodge version of this hat. So it's going to give you in total 27 evasion in a single item. It's very easy actually to max this out because of just the small amount of stats that this hat has overall, right? 95 HP, 2 defense, 14 magic, 7 spirit, and then 19 evade. You can even go in there and hammer that HP before you even start leveling this hat at the +5 version to level 50. Hammer all that HP away and then level it to 50 at +5, and you will literally max out every stat on the hat. So it's a very, very, very strong piece of gear in evasion builds due to 27 dodge all in one piece of gear. Now, if the Sage's Hat is a little bit too expensive for you, right? A lot of recipes, 63 Sage's Hat recipes at 1.2 million each. You can look at the Circlet, which does the same exact thing as the Sage's Hat, just a little bit worse. So it gives 15 evade in the gear evade stat allocation instead of the 18, but it gives also 7 at the +5 version, so it's going to give 22 instead of what the Sage's Hat gave, which was 27. So Circlet's going to give a little bit less evasion, but it also is way, way, way easier to craft, being an SR recipe. So if you're looking for a quick, tiny fix, you don't want to go for the long grind, you want something that's still very, very, very powerful, definitely try to invest in at least a Circlet if you're going for a dodge build. It's way more accessible than the Sage's Hat build, and it's only a little bit worse than the Sage's Hat. Now, one of the final ones to talk about here, dodge. We have Mithril Armor. If your character wants to go for a dodge-oriented build, but they can't wear clothing, they can't wear hats, which some characters are like that, this is going to be an SR recipe that's going to be very good for them because this is the highest dodge armor that actually exists in the game. So you have to get the dodge version of the Mithril Armor. It's going to give you 18 evasion on the gear itself. The plus version here, the extra bonus stat is going to be strike and resistance, which isn't really that big of a deal, which is a boon to this as well because you don't need to really farm up all of those recipes to really maximize out that secondary bonus here, because you don't really care about the strike resistance. You really just care about maxing out this 18 dodge on the armor. So maybe you take +3 or +2, somewhere around there, because getting +1, +2, +3, +4, +5, that does influence the stat growth a little bit as you try to maximize these stats. So if you want to have maximum HP and maximum evasion, take it to +2, +3, stop your grinding there, level it up to level 50, get your evade 18, defense 5, HP 337, maybe use a hammer here or there to max it out, and you'll be good to go, especially since strike damage isn't really all that popular right now, and you're going to be using this for a long while as an evasion staple in the armor slot for people who have to wear heavy armor. Now, the last one to talk about is the Fairies Ring, or the Hero's Ring as well, which is the rare version of this accessory. And this kind of goes hand in hand with Mithril Armor, because Mithril Armor's secondary bonus, unlike the Sage's Hat, is strike and resistance. It's not evasion. But the rings here that we have, which we're going to be talking about Fairy Ring the most because it's an SR, very easily accessible, it's going to be actually not only silence resistance, but increase evasion of 7 here. So if you take a character and you have Fairy Ring in Mithril Armor, you're putting this on like a tank character, you want them to tank for you, you want them to dodge tank, you don't really care about how much damage they do, because you're going to be using both of their slots. You can't use a weapon because you're already using the Mithril Armor and the Fairy Ring. You have to use like some sort of TMR weapon, or maybe even no weapon at all. You can go in here and get an extra 7 evasion on top of the 18 from the Mithril Armor. You get 25 dodge right then and there. You're in the dodge meta now, very tanky, have a decent amount of HP, and you're going to have a 25 dodge just from your gear. You put this on like a samurai character wearing armor, you're going to have a good time out there. Dodging attacks left, right, front, and center is definitely a piece of gear you guys need to think about when crafting armor and accessories. These are going to be the top armor and accessories to think about crafting right now in War of the Visions, especially since this is going to be the make or break point at the time of recording. This is going to be the first big opportunity for people to craft up different sort of armors and accessories and level them up to 30, 40, 50. If you're able to do that, craft these really good accessories and armors for your characters, it's going to get you a cut above other people when it comes to PvE and PvP out there in War of the Visions. So if you want to see more stuff like this, informational content, War of the Visions, Final Fantasy, Brave Exvius, or other Final Fantasy titles, go ahead, hit that subscribe button, turn notification bell on, because if you don't, YouTube's not going to think this channel exists for you. Leave a comment down below what armor and accessory you thought you were going to craft and which one you are definitely going to craft now. And then obviously out there, until next time, stay safe, thanks for the support, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care, guys.